Hey, I'm Lily. Welcome to my channel. You know, during the holidays you have a lot of leftover food like turkey, ham, stuff like that, chicken. Well, if you have ham left over or you go get some cooked ham, whatever, here's what you can do with it. Take your leftover or fresh cooked ham, cut it up into chunks. My chunks are normally about this size. Take a pot of hot boiling water and drop your ham in it. Now, we're also going to be adding these butter beans. You can get butter beans at the grocery store. They can be fresh, they can be frozen, in the can, in the bag, does not matter. Just get some butter beans. Let me cut some more of this ham up. The ham is going to give the beans a lot of flavor. And we're also going to be adding some bouillon cubes. These bouillon cubes come in handy for so many things. You can put these in rice, noodles, boiling meat, baking anything, does not matter. They give food so much good flavor. But I had like 2 or 3 people on Facebook earlier that were saying they had a lot of leftovers and they were trying to figure out what to do with them to make a new meal so they didn't have to eat like the same thing over and over again. So whatever ham is left over that we don't use, that's what I do with it. I make ham and butter beans. I make ham and rice. Same thing with turkey. And you can cook some more like deviled eggs with it, cranberry sauce, whatever you want. As some side dishes. And these are the beef bouillon cubes. I do chicken, beef. Both of them are really good in it. Either one you want, just to give some more flavor. You can even add some bacon to it. Bacon gives ham and beans really good flavor. And I'll tell you something else that's good. Neck bones and rice. You can put bacon, neck bones, rice, and a little bit of ham in a pot together and boil it. It's so easy. I mean, all it's doing is boiling. When it's done, and it's nice and tender and has that flavor that you want, there you go. Easy meal. But I mean, this ham is already cooked. A lot of ham comes cooked in the pack. So all you have to do is buy it, bring it home, take it out, cut it up, put it in the pot, let it boil. And like I said, you can add some rice to it or some beans to it, or just eat it by itself. And that's a quick supper already done. And you don't have to stand there and stress yourself out over another meal. It's a big chunk of ham. Really big. Now, I like to cook food and donate it. And I like to buy food and donate it. So this is another one of those meals that you can cook. And for people in your neighborhood that you know, like since COVID has started, we have some elderly people who, you know, they can't get to the store. Their families can't necessarily come see them. Or their families stay in other states and they can't get to them. So we cook meals and we take it to them. Because unfortunately, we don't have like a Meals on Wheels here. So we just cook some stuff up and we drop it off. And then they go outside, or we take it, normally we'll take it to the door and drop it off. That way nobody's face to face. And when I do that, I wash my hands really well. Normally when I'm donating food, I'm using gloves and shield and all that stuff. But this is for my supper tonight, so that's why I'm not wearing gloves or a shield, because I'm home. And it's for me. See how easy, how tender that is? I don't know what company cooked this ham. I don't even know what company this is from, but that is really nice ham. And like I said, you can eat it. It's already cooked ham. I love the flavor that ham gives to rice. It's so delicious. Ooh, and I know something else too. If you have ham left over from Christmas or whatever holiday, ham sandwiches. Oh my gosh, you put some Duke's mayonnaise on some bread with some ham, and I'm about to hit that cabinet door with my head again because I'm bad for that. I told you, my channel is going to be a little bit of everything. Cooking, talking, Carrying on. I made some chocolate covered peanuts last night, and I can't remember if I shared that video, but I will definitely share it if I didn't. I love making chocolate covered anything. And you know, I don't eat a whole lot of chocolate, but when I crave it, I make a good bit of it. Because I give it to the neighbors too. They love it. I don't know. It's kind of just been like a long day today. Had a lot of cleaning to do. Had to pay some bills online. Talked to my family a little bit on the phone. You know, because you can't really be around nobody right now. Or we're not supposed to be. Now, my state isn't on like a lockdown where the law says we have to be locked down. I'm choosing to be. Because I don't want to be at risk or put anybody else at risk. I'm trying to be responsible, you know, because this COVID, it ain't no joke. It's very real, very serious. I was gonna make like some mashed potatoes, fried chicken, beans, gravy, biscuits, stuff like that the other day. And I figured, hey, I'll make this and make, you know, tons of it and take it to the rest home and donate it. I couldn't even get in the front door or even drop it off. They said no. Nope. So I took it to a shelter that's in my town and I donated it there. But the rest homes now are taking this very seriously. To begin with, they weren't. Not here anyways. To begin with, they were letting everybody go in and out like back in March. But by about May, they were shutting their doors and nobody was coming in and out. Not even their family. Not even the residents' families. You know, and it's sad, but I do understand why they're doing it. I mean, I get it. You know, it's to keep the residents safe. It scares me to know what people are going through in the rest homes. I worked at several rest homes, and when you work in places like that, you kind of see what goes on behind closed doors. And there are some rest homes that are really neglectful. Now, fortunate in this town where I stay at now, the rest homes here are very, very, very good. They take care of their residents. You can tell that the nurses love their residents. You can tell that they have good service. And, well, I'm almost getting all the meat off of it. But there are some rest homes that are really shady. And it's really sad because when our elderly is put into a rest home, you know, some of these people are people who built our country. Some of these people have been here, you know, like one of the ladies at this other rest home, I think she's 100, right, either she's 99 or 100 years old. And she worked for the county for like 40 years. That's a woman who built this county. That's a woman who's built this country. And then now she's in a rest home, and it's just sad, you know. And to know that elderly people are being abused in rest homes, it makes my stomach queasy because, like I said, those people, they don't deserve it. And then there's nothing they can do. They're stuck there. And there's a lot of elderly people whose families don't come see them. And the elderly folk, I'll tell you what, I was doing some, hold on, I gotta cut this off this bone. I was doing some volunteering a while back, and this was about 2 years ago, because if you're a volunteer, you can't do a nurse's job, obviously, so I couldn't do a nurse's job. But I was allowed to sit with the older people, talk to them, you know, spend time with them, bring my dogs to see them and spend time with them. And they really enjoyed that. And it was such a good time. I miss doing that, but since COVID, you know, we can't do it. But one day, I was sitting and talking with a woman. And, you know, some of these people do have dementia and Alzheimer's and different things, you know, medically wrong with them. And that can affect the way they think and things they say and stuff. And this woman was telling me that someone, you know, had hurt her. Well, I thought that she meant at that moment in the present because, you know, when I hear something like that, I take it seriously. So I thought she meant somebody in the rest home was hurting her, and they did a full-blown investigation, And come to find out, she had been, she had dementia. She didn't understand exactly what she was talking about. But I was so happy to see that the rest home took it seriously. And they did an investigation, and that was what was important. There are some rest homes that when elderly people say things, abuse has went on, the rest homes don't investigate it. There are some rest homes, they hide it. They sweep it under the rug. And that's so scary to think about, because one day you or me or our families can be in a rest home. So we have to stop that abuse and neglect that is going on in rest homes. You have to help stop it, because you yourself can be in that situation one day. Well, later, years ago, my great-grandmother was put in a rest home. She was about 93 years old. Now, she lived on her own up until she was like 93 or 94 before she went to the rest home. She was so tough, this woman. She was still driving at about 90, driving a car, going to town all by herself. And then she got sick. When she got sick, some of the distant family put her in the rest home. Unfortunately, she got sicker and sicker pretty fast. But before she passed away, everybody would visit her, and I would go sit and talk with her, and she would tell me, like always, these amazing stories about her past. Can't stand them. But she would tell me all these stories about her past and when she was my age, and it's just, I miss that. I know I'm so random because I jump back and forth to different subjects, kind of like my ADHD does that. But she would just tell me all these stories about her youth and when she was a little girl, teenager, adult, and like how things were back then. And let me tell you, y'all, we have come so far, because when my great-grandma was, like my age, women were not allowed to do hardly anything. When my great-grandmother was like in her early teens, that society that she grew up in, they didn't believe in divorce. Whoever you married was who you were stuck with. And divorce was just like not heard of. No, you don't do that. So you better be sure. Or sometimes the families would force two people to get married. And then they'd have to stay together. And I think that's just so sad. When she used to tell me that, I would just be like, man, we really don't know in some ways how good we do have it nowadays. Because we do have the right to pick and choose who we want to be with. And we can vote, and we can be in the military, and we can be president, we can be preachers, we can be anything we want. It's a lot to think about. Okay, so I have my beans. Oh, I'm almost in tears thinking about my grandparents, because I miss them. I just miss them so much. So I have my beans. I'm just going to dump them in. I'm doing 2 bags because I'm going to have this for lunch tomorrow. So and I'm going to give my neighbor some, because my neighbor is elderly and doesn't have anyone who comes by and takes care of her, or I go over and I take her trash out and I wash her dishes and things like that. But because of COVID, I haven't been able to do that stuff. So all I can do is make some food, take it to her, drop it off at the door, and leave it. But that's okay. Hey, look, a bone for my dog. She's going to love that. I might video it and post it because it's so hilarious to watch her with these big bones. It kind of looks like a butt. Right there. Okay, I'm just going to put that over here and wash my hands. I like to stop and think about certain different things, like how it used to be and how it is now. And my great-grandmother had a book called, and it was like this town that she grew up in 100 years ago. And it had pictures in it. And I used to sit and read that book all the time and just fantasize about how it used to be back in those days. And it's just really cool to think about. The times used to be so different, and This is how it was. So you're gonna let your ham and your butter beans boil until the beans are tender, and that's it. You can put a lid on it if you want to. You can turn it down a little bit. I'm gonna let mine boil, and as soon as those beans are tender, I'm eating. I hope maybe if you have some tips and ideas, share them with me in the comments. If you'd like to know other recipes or tips or whatever, just hey, leave a comment. Like I said, I'm new to this. I'm not an experienced YouTuber, so please bear with me. I ramble on. I jump subject to subject. But I try to be as honest and open as I can be. And that's it. I'm going to have me some more of this addictive drink that I'm trying to get off of. And I'm going to have my ham and butter beans. And then, I don't know, maybe watch some Netflix. I hope you all have a good evening.